can survive.
Well, this is what I'm going in with. It's got me this far, so... Woo! Overlorder! See, I can do it too, Galaxy Whiz. There's a second phase, so help me. Down, down, down. Oh, he died again? Okay, I'm not gonna yell, I'm not gonna do the pillow thing, I'm just gonna accept it. It hurts so much. I put so much work, so many hours in order to defeat this mode, and it just wasn't meant to be. After all those attempts that I got, I stumbled at the finish line, and I had to start the entire run when I was ready to, all over again. Because there certainly wasn't a point where I could have spent currency in order to go back to that mode! In order to go back to that round! But nope, I definitely had to start everything all over again. And one night, after playing the first half of the Splatoon 3 Grand Festival, I did it. I decided I am going to go out of my way to go and play the Order Sector all over again, without using my microphone and overlaying that white text you can see at the very bottom left side of the screen that will give anyone who has a TV or computer with screen burn this semi-permanent mark of what I am doing. I was going to beat this, and I didn't need to give commentary to do it or to interact with anyone. I just had to get good. And I had to be in the right mindset. So off I went on my secret day 3 attempt. I had plenty of different buffs on my side, including now being able to see what 2 bosses would show up before the final one. Plus, I now had a way of being able to get through these floors a lot quicker than I was able to when it came to the very first floors. And so I played my little heart out, trying to get as much done as I possibly could, one mission after another, without fail, just trying to get all the way back up to the 30th floor, no matter the cost. I had to take some risk in order to get further into the game. But over time, those risks started to pay off as I was getting ready to take the final blow to the final boss, which I may or may have not forgotten the name of, sorry. I was laser focused on my goal, doing everything I could, get these missions done as quickly and efficiently as possible without losing lives. Even making some brand new records that I wouldn't have tried to attempt earlier on during my runs. So, you know, I was getting at least something done. Soon I was taking on harder and harder missions to try to complete as much as I possibly could. But with every risk came a possible chance of defeat. But whenever I lost a life, I was always sure to visit the vending machine just so I could restock. Soon I was on the next boss, which was that stupid top thing. But I had a plan. Anytime I found that top boss, I would reset the entire floor, since I now knew there were only 3 different random generated bosses that could show up. Only 3, and only 2 of them I've been able to defeat. So I did it. I went after the ball boss, trying to make sure that I did not sacrifice one of my lives by accident as I tried to defeat this menace. And sooner or later, I did it. With a time of 3:02, I was able to beat that boss. It was on to the floor 10 sections, where things would get harder. But I wasn't scared. I actually had a pretty good run going, and I was gonna try to make that run count no matter what. A lot of the floors I ended up doing were the silly little roll the ball puzzles. But as long as I could get a good reward out of it, that's all that really mattered to me. So slowly but surely, I was beating more and more floors and getting more and more rewards out of it that would help me in the long run. But of course, the floors started to get harder and harder as I went forward. But I would persevere no matter what and give it my very best. Even if some of the floors were a lot easier, as long as the reward was worth it, I was willing to do anything. Hard floors, easy floors, it didn't matter. All that mattered was the long game. But soon, that rigorous difficulty showed its ugly face. So, I decided I was gonna take it. For sticky ink? Sure, it would be worth it. Plus, there was some kind of bonus. So whatever this was, I'm sure I could take it on. Don't take damage. You gotta clear the floor without taking damage? Well, I was gonna take a bunch, but now we came across our first real challenge. Defend the splat zone without taking a lick of damage. Or try to take as less damage as possible. So, I was up to the task. I used the bounce pad to my advantage, and whenever it got too chaotic and out of control, I swam my way out of there so I could regroup, refill my ink, and get back into the fray. Unfortunately, yeah, I took damage. But what mattered was how less damage I would take, and being able to try to complete this without losing any lives. After all, I'd went past the vending machine. What were the odds I was going to see another vending machine anytime soon? I had to be on my A game for this, and I did everything I could to make sure that would happen. And soon I was only at 40 ticks, halfway done with the challenge. I would keep it together, I would make this work out. Nothing was gonna stop me. Another bit of damage, but that wouldn't falter me. I was determined to make this run count. To make this the run that would win me this entire mode. But I started to get a little cocky. Whenever I had my special, I would jump into the fray and start firing on all cylinders, especially if I received enough damage that my base armor was cut out. But I started to get a little sloppy over time. But I was still doing my darndest. I still had 3 whole lives. I couldn't lose now, right? And then I lost a life. But I had to shake it off. I had to do this. No matter what. I didn't know if there was going to be another vending machine anytime soon. Soon I was at 10 ticks again. With 1 life lost, I was able to use the bounce pad to slowly evade the other enemies. And after trying to clear out the section, I went back in with my special to try to finally finish all the ticks and finish this rigorous difficulty. It was dangerous, but I had a plan. I used the upper floor to my advantage and cleared the 15th floor. Rigorous difficulty with a bonus that just made it harder. In the meantime, I was also learning more about the characters inside the elevator, including the mysterious Atchit. I didn't know if Atchit was going to be the one that would try to derail my progress later on, but I didn't have time to think about that. I had to decide once again, what was I going to pick for my next floor? Would I pick rigorous? Yes. Just so I could try to keep it at bay. It was another dangerous play, but I had little choice. Destroy the portals. Simple enough, but I've never seen this stage before. It had a fan. Something that could give me an advantage or disadvantage based on how I would use it. So, with the Pearl drone, I set to work. My first goal was to try to see if I could get the top portal destroyed first, while Cohen Bro happily played Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, which I totally wasn't jealous about. But I had a mission to do, and the sooner this mission was done, the sooner I could put Splatoon 3 and the whole franchise to bed. Only 1 more portal left. I had played it perfectly up to this point. I had to try to grab as many power-ups and battery boosts as possible so I could get the edge. But once again, I started to get greedy. Whenever there was an item dropped down, I would try my best to power through all of the enemies in order to get it. And then, I made another fatal mistake. 1 life left. It was my last life. I had to be way more careful, way more conservative. I couldn't just jump into that whole mess. But I still had to get some damage done to the portal, while using the fan to evade all the other Salmonoids. But I screwed up. With that one last jump, it was over, and was not worth spending the money to use another continue. Once again, I was back at the very bottom, with a little bit more currency to use for my next run. So, how would I use it to increase my odds? Well, I decided I was going to buy an extra life. The fact is, whenever I use a continue, I'm just using one of the currencies to continue on with 3 lives. But if I had more additional lives, it wouldn't cost me anything to have more chances. So, it was off for a second round. Once more, I went into the fray, sang records, and taking names. Trying to pick out the best strategies that I could pick out in order to defeat the final boss. Once again, trying to clear out floors as quickly as possible without losing too many lives, which I lost one of them at one point, and I don't remember exactly how. I was going to try to make the best out of the situations that I had. But I wasn't able to get back that 4th life. I was running with 3 lives as I went against the boss of this floor. 7 freaking shadow inklings. Had to take them all down without messing up. And for a while, I was doing pretty good. Once again, I started slipping up. Was this gonna be another bad run for me? Where I was once again taking too many risks? Not quite yet. I was able to Eventually, I did beat the boss and get back both of my lives from one single vending machine after I defeated the boss of that floor. I was once again sitting pretty, just had to make sure that I continued to make the best decisions that were possible for my game. Once again, I was getting more lore about all of the characters, including Otch. I want to know more about her, because her and Pearl seem to share some kind of connection. I was hoping at some point I would get to learn more about this mysterious character. I was faced off with a rigorous difficulty, but I decided I was going to wait on it. It didn't seem like the risk and rewards were worth it at the moment. So I decided I was going to take on a much easier, well, task. And I got done with flying colors. The 16th floor was cleared. What could be next for me? Oh, 2 different hard modes. The knockback, that would be a great thing to have, but this would be my most dangerous mission yet. And then I saw it. Nothing. Who turned out the lights? Stay alert, 8, and don't rush into what you can't see. Pure darkness. I had to defend this turf while looking at these evil eyes that looked like they were from freaking Five Nights at Freddy's, and defend my turf in the dark. This was one of the most freakiest missions I had seen. But I would have to persevere as best as I could. Just stay in the rectangle. That's why I kept telling myself. Luckily, I was able to use one of the springs in order to identify one of the enemies. I need to get rid of that one right away, else things get really bleak for me. I was already past the halfway point. Could I really do this without losing any lives whatsoever? 10 ticks away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done! I cleared the 7th floor on danger mode and got a great reward out of it. I was elated. Once again, Rigorous showed its ugly, ugly head. And I once again had to choose. And I decided, heck with the difficulty. I already went through something rigorous. I would just complete this much more semi-easy mission. But rigorous was still there, and it would only get worse if I didn't deal with it. So it was time to take it out. On the run circles, eternal. Once again, another new stage. But I got a ton of chips. This would work out. This could work out. But as the stage title had subtly mentioned, I was being hunted. And boy, they wanted to gun me down. My most favorite new enemies of the game once again locked on to me, trying to snipe me. I was gonna have to be vigilant. I couldn't pay attention to my goal the entire time. Whenever there was a red beam of light showing on me, I felt like I had to drop what I was doing to take care of it post-haste. That was my strategy going into this. With that obnoxious music playing in the backdrop that reminded me of one of the dumbest decisions I made before I got to the 30th floor. I persevered. I kept taking out the enemies one by one. More of those tracking salmonoids kept spawning. There was certain terrain that I couldn't ink, which when those particular enemies showed up, it made for quite a bad time. But using my special that I refuse to ever change, I was able to even the odds for me. But there came a point where I just could not find my objective. Where was the thing I was supposed to splat in order to win this? There it was. I had to try to keep more of an eye on it and work on it more than I have been. So I started to try to even it out. Anytime it required me to get past a certain threshold in order to get the thing to keep going, I would spend my minutes trying to make that happen. It was a delicate balance of trying to hit the thing and trying to keep myself alive by getting rid of the most dangerous enemies that had an open field to try to knock me out. But I did it! With all 4 lives intact, I defeated the eternally hunted floor. And I felt good. Once again, it was time to reset the floor and give myself the advantage. I was now on the 20th floor. Only 10 more before I would get to the final boss. So once again, I fought with all I had to defeat the ball boss. Luckily, I had done this before on the second hardest difficulty, so I already knew what was in store. And eventually, it had happened. I had defeated the second boss. I just had to get through 9 more floors. And while it was difficult, it would be doable. I had a really good set of color palettes. It's time for the final run. As long as I kept my lives, as long as I didn't use any of my continues, I could have a chance to finally defeat the final boss. Or at least what I thought was the final boss. But once again, I had another stupid challenge and another new level. Without gliding, I had to secure this zone. I had this teeny little window that I had to use to try to keep the bad guys at bay. This was not going to be easy. But I had some advantage. As long as I kept the walls up, they would have less of a chance to get through my defenses. So I had to make sure I got out the flying enemies whenever I could. But soon I was starting to get overwhelmed. I had to get these things out of the way. I had to get an advantage. I had to get the Pearl Drone to do something, and soon it did. With Killer Whale, it was able to start knocking out some of the enemies. And I was able to get the zone back. It was very dicey. I could have lost a life there before I even got to the halfway point. I got all 3 CDs. I was looking good this time. 20 ticks left. If I kept it up at this rate, I would be able to win. Just a little bit more and boom! With the explosion, I defeated the 21st floor. And got the canned special drop. Hindrance damage looked tempting. But because of the bonus and the difficulty spike, I decided to take on a more normal mission. Too bad that bit me right in the butt. I lost 1 of my 4 lives. I had to destroy these portals. I thought that maybe trying to get rid of the first portal, the biggest portal, would be the play. But I jumped into a whole slew of salmonoids. So I didn't want to do that again. So I decided it would be best for me to try to stay on the top levels, get rid of the top portals, and try to keep all of the bad guys from getting to the top. Using the tops, I was able to get an advantage and clear this 22nd floor. 7 more floors to go. It was time to go to the vending machine. Yep, I was gonna go to the vending machine, get a life back, and once again get the ink mine, which worked out so well during my best run. But who knows? It could work out again. Now I was tasked to choose between at least 2 different missions. But there was a double main piercing, but I would be in danger again. But I decided I have enough color chips, I got enough of an advantage. No risk, no reward. What would be the challenge this time? No drone. Yo, wait! Without me or item drops, it's all up to you, but I got faith. Show me what you got! So, I jumped and forgot that the drone usually makes me hover, so this was going to be interesting. I would no longer be able to hover. I would have to play this way more carefully than I have most of the other missions thus far. One of my best ideas was to use the special in order to knock back the fleeing fish. Something I hoped would make it work out. If I got a hit spot on, then I could destroy the fish right then and there. Also, that was the first time I saw the anglerfish, so that was kind of freaky. I spent most of my time trying to duck and dodge while shooting out the main enemies. But I still had to focus on the gosh darn fish. Then I decided to take a risky play, and it worked. The 24th floor was cleared. And with an updated time. What's next? Would I do hard mode? Or could I just go to the vending machine? No, of course I had to do hard. At least this way, if I won, I would be getting a color chip for free, instead of spending money that I could use on continues. So, I had to escort the Turboline Tower. Another one of these. I was gonna have to go through the pyramid while these things chased me from all ends. I would try to limit how many were on the screen at a time, while also using the top enemy to keep them at bay. My priority was to try to get as many top enemies defeated as possible, because I could use the tops to my advantage. I had a game plan. And so far, it was working pretty well. Using the special to take out the enemies in front of me, and use the tops. I was soon past the halfway point. I knocked out the fish missile, and was past checkpoint number 2. I had this in the bag. But then I realized I had to go back into the pyramid. So I put all my effort into trying to get that thing into the center. And boom, the 25th floor was cleared. It seemed like Marina hadn't seen Atch in quite a while. 8 years, in fact. I honestly didn't know if that was a Splatoon 2 reference or not. But I didn't have time to focus on that. I had more difficult choices to pick. I still had 3 more floors to do. The rigorous could get worse. But at the same time, maybe not. So I decided on a normal mission to try to give myself something just a little bit easier to do. I once again had to defeat the fish enemies. And I was doing a fairly good job on focusing my efforts between defending myself and getting rid of those stupid little fish fries. Though it was getting harder and harder for me to even tell where the heck they were. The best thing I could do was try to get the higher ground. That way I could see where exactly they were, and possibly get the drop on them. One more left. Just had to find it, and I would be on my way. This really did feel like this would be the run to end all my runs. I still was worried that the final boss was going to destroy all my lives or continues, but I now had an extra life. Hopefully, enough chances would give me, well, enough chances for me to defeat the final boss. As long as I could get there with everything intact, that's all that would matter. Boom! With my special, I sniped out the fish. I was now on the 27th floor. Rigorous was once again showing its ugly head. Poison ink was a good thing to have, but if I had too much of one thing versus another, would that be a good idea? Regardless, I decided I was going to take on the rigorous test. If 2 rigorous showed up, that would lessen my odds of being able to get through this with all 4 of my lives. I had 2 different places I had to keep inked. Once more, this would be my hardest mission. Thank goodness I could still use the Pearl Drone, and thank goodness I remembered I could use the Pearl Drone to fly. But I still had to keep all the other enemies out of my line of sight, while also dealing with those stupid flyby shrimps. I would jump between both areas over and over again. This would be pure tediism, but it would be the only way that I would be able to get through this. My odds were looking a little bleak, to say the least. But as long as I just continued to play and do the same things over and over again, eventually I would get all of those ticks. Checkpoint 1 was in my sight. I had to make sure I used the special sparingly. Only for when I got surrounded. Only for when I lost my main shield. I was already past halfway done. I had a perfect, or semi-perfect strategy. Whenever I saw those flying enemies, I would bust them up. That way I could stop them from going to the other zone I could not protect. I was soon on my last checkpoint, and looking pretty good for it. Just continue the strategy. Get out of there! Get out! No! I lost a life! It was deflating, but I knew I had to just keep going. I couldn't think about it. I decided to go for the far-off goal this time. Kept fighting. I started using my special to knock out the flying enemies. I had to win this. I couldn't afford to lose any more lives. I had to get this done. Zone secured. I knew I would have to get to the next zone, but I had to try to also knock out as many enemies as I could, so they wouldn't following back. 25 ticks left. Try to clear out a path and make my way back to the other zone. Only 10 more ticks. Take out these two. Clear this up. Hope that the other zone was not being bombarded. This was getting way too dangerous. But I did it! I'd lost a life in the process, but I cleared the 27th floor and one of the rigorous levels. If I could just get a vending machine on one of the last two floors. I went in for the 28th floor, picking a much more easier mission. Protect another zone. And I had not seen this one before. I would have to use the paint bombs in order to keep the entire zone clear of black debris and pollution. This actually felt a little bit easier. I didn't have to just rely on my paint gun and my special. As long as I could have access to the balloons, then I had a really good chance. Boom. The 28th floor was already cleared. Only the 29th floor was left. What would be my choices? Of course. Hard or rigorous. And there was a lovely little bonus to entice me. The ink attack size, that would be great. Being able to hit things more easier, that would be a terrific thing to have. So, it was time for the all the way down mission while not being able to move in swim form. On the same darn stage I spent hours, nope, that I spent over 10 minutes on during my last best run. But this was gonna be easier. I just couldn't move in swim form. I could walk, which I preferred to do anyways. I would just use my squid form in order to refill ink. Just don't move in squid form, and everything would be good. I would get done with this mission in a much more record time. Of course, if I need to evade the enemies right away, usually I would go into swim form and dash away as quickly as I could. I had to make sure I did not do too much of that. I would use the hover, try to scope out the area, and decide what my best plan was. I decided to use my special to keep the others at bay. I was past checkpoint 2. I used the spring and shot down one of the fish that was in my way. Things were going fairly well, and then I swam a little bit, so that sucked. But things were still going fairly well. I had my special to defend me. Just get it all the way back up. I was scared of getting surrounded. I would have to make sure I paid attention to anything behind me, lest it sneak up and destroy my chances. But the Pearl Drone activated Killer Whale. And I was on my way to finally getting back to that final boss. Quote unquote. Victory was in sight. I was at the last checkpoint. Just clear out these enemies and then go all in. Use special. Clear them out. Use special on the thing. And boom! I had done it! For the second time, I had cleared 29 full floors. Only one life missing. Here we are. Once again at the top. We're not gonna take another L from that order creep. I'll be right there with you. It's time we stopped ordered. Think I'll hang back here. Remember what you learned last time. You know it! We're not gonna sell for that thing's hash again! I was ready. As ready as I'll ever be. Actually, I felt like I could take a break, so I took some time, got some food to eat, may or may have not got in the camera to record my reaction to when I defeated this thing. And soon, I was ready. I went in with a lump in my throat. If I failed this again, would I have the energy to try? So, after skipping over some cutscenes, I was ready to face off against the Overlorder once more. I'd kind of forgotten how easy the very beginning was. But at the same time, I also was scared about whatever the Overlorder would do. The worst thing he had done to me, nearly every single time, was use that spitting ink move. I slowly kept grinding out the enemies, trying to get my special charged up. Got armor. Broke the barrier and started using the specials. Dodged the ink blots as best as I could. And just kept firing. Using the special anytime I could. Phase 1 down. But I knew it was gonna get much, much worse. I tried to shoot one of the tentacles and I just couldn't reach it. That was a waste of ink. One down. Pearl whale was helping me. Got 2 down. I just need to get a 3rd one. I floated up. Got into position. Fired every last shot I could at it. And I have my special at the ready. Got a disc piece. Took some shots. But I was also trying to read the dialogue below. If I could do that, then I would know what he was going to do ahead of time. Except for it. I decided I was going to take a risk. Dodge, not paying attention to the red bombs, but that was a mistake. But I somehow beat in the 2nd phase when I was at my weakest. Only 1 more phase remained. The one I kept failing at. 1 down. I took my shots. The Reef Slide Protocol. Wait, the what? What was this? What was... No! No! I don't remember this! The Reef Sliders? How was I supposed to know where they would be? Somehow, I had just discovered an even more dangerous move that he could use against me. And unless I swam like mad, I would get hit every single time. Suddenly, my odds were worse than the first time. My odds were worse! Using that move that defeated me so many times over. But one of the chips that I had gotten earlier was the swim speed up. So now I could outpace that stingray spray just by swimming in the ink. As long as I had enough ink to swim in. Reef Slider again! I had to swim for it! But I was dead already. I was on my last life. I'm sure that I had continues. 2 of them at least. But I wanted this done. I wanted this over with. Stingray. I'd screwed up. I'd stayed too long. But luckily, I was able to evade it. But what the heck would I do if he used Reef Slider again? One of the things I thought about is that Reef Slider would only go on the ground. If there was a chance, just a single chance, that I could be in the air, then I could evade those Reef Sliders. I barely got through that attack. I actually was making fairly good progress. So far, everything was working. But I screwed up again! I was using the Stingray! And I had my special on! But I made it. I took to the air. Got rid of some of the salmonoids. I was using the explosive bombs again. The killer whale had helped me. But I did not pay attention to the Reef Sliders. 1 continued down. Let's try this again, 8. This time, we won't lose. So I hoped. Back to square one again. Phase 3. I would save my special. I had no ink, but I would create my own path. In fact, I would create the path early. That way I was ready for the Stingray. And hopefully, the Reef Sliders. Boom. 2 down. Stingray. I was up in the air too long. Create a path. Keep going. And boom, I was done. one of the things I had to keep reminding myself is when it got to that final hit. No, the re-sliders! No! They destroyed me! But if I could get done with the stupid re-sliders, I knew the final hit, he could do another Stingray. 2 in a row. I had to make sure I was prepared for that. But first, I had to figure out what I was gonna do about these stupid sliding reefs. Stingray evaded. Let's go back, get rid of that tentacle. Use the special, take the shot. I got surrounded, but luckily I was able to jump back in time. Special at the ray. Re-sliders again. Go up! Yes! It worked! As long as I stayed up here, the re-sliders couldn't hit me. As long as I was paying attention to the text. And as long as I was near one of those sections where I could slide my way up the thing, then I had a way to evade the re-sliders. Something I wasn't thinking about is the closer I got to defeating him, the more he would just use attacks without telegraphing them. I had to rely on sound cues. Something I wasn't 100% prepared for. Killer whale at the ready. We would knock out this last weak point. Stingray! Why did I not pay attention to the Stingray? But somehow, I was able to survive. This was it. I just had to defeat him. I was almost done. I was almost done. Come on. Come on. Oh, jeez, he's doing the reef thing again. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, jeez, Stingray. Stingray, Stingray, Stingray. No! Oh! Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh, yes! This is the greatest picture I'm going to have for a while. Looks like you're donezo, Snortor! Such chaotic strength is fearless, but the program is initiated. The reboot will happen. No, after all that, we're too late. I don't want a blank world. Maybe if I shut down Aura's program. No good. It's Uh-oh. That's not good. I don't know what beat I'm supposed to be going at. Yeah, let's raise up that chaotic energy! I'm doing it wrong somehow. taking a while. Oh hey, I'm getting an image finally. Okay, I got it now. Yes! There it is! Hey, I'm feeling your vibe! And Marina, your backing track slaps! Cancel that snooze button! Hit me with the beat, DJ! Coming at you, Pooh! Of what use is this resistance? Happiness is stasis. You king? We're still on tour! The show don't stop! Keep on your boy gigs for point people. We're not even trying to vibe with that, bro. Right, gang? Crank it up! Mic check. Now what? My limbs are self-aiming. Why? This is outside my parameters. An undefined error is occurring. This world you dreamed up is so boring, even you can't stand it anymore. But you got to ink to fix it. Don't get cut. Stay off the hook! Of course they're gonna be the winners of the Splatfest. Useless! Try all you like, the results will never change! Hey, the palette's empty. Did Order do this? Look! I think I see the color chips trapped inside these portals! Oh yeah, we're turning up the intensity on this fight. It's encore time! Ready to take a bow, eight? Hopefully I don't bow out. Alright, let's do this! London compulsory carry scaling. Air, we time. Air persists. I'm fine. I'm poorly. I'm totally fine. Alright, let's do that better. Way better. A little less fail! Alright. Nice. I'm gonna die again now. Okay. What's happening now? I knew it! These balls are hiding the color chips! I can't reach them right now! Are we good? Are we safe? There we go! Color chips! Incredible! All the energy at the color chips surged directly into what? The mobility tone chips? I can't read that fast! The color chips are more saturated than usual! That's not good! Let's turn up the hue! Where are the... There's... Oh, dang it.
toffee chips! You hit the jackpot, 8!
Pins! Can I survive long enough to use them?
A new portal! There must be more colored chips in there.
Oops. Guy had the gun. It's special. What's happening? Oh, dang it. Go, 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 go. Alright. More colored chips. Nice.
Oh, this time you got the support chips.
Nice. What is happening? Running diagnostics.
Woohoo! These look like the rhinestone chips.
Grayscaling is running in reverse. Impossible. Oh, I'm getting better.
Power tone chips, huh? Perfect.
Oh, I love this music.
Think we found the last chips.
Overflowing!
Oh yeah, crank it up! You folks ready to see the color whale? How do you do it?
There it is! Huh, it's gonna
Leave a stain. Pour it on, Brown!
Here comes Camel Bank Program!
Look at that max chain.
Warning, an undefined area is occurring. Warning, 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 undefined area occurring. Warning. That hurt my throat.
Did we win? What the? Wait, what's that? It's so cute! You ruined everything! I was so close to my perfect world of order! It's like order except a lot less scary. I don't think we have much to worry about. Sweet! Case closed then! Yo, baby puss! You down with the music, huh? You wanna get your VIP seats to the tour? Oh, Pearl. Oh, Pearl. Alright, time for us to bounce. We gotta get back to the show. To our tour.
I was so worried there were gonna be 20 more floors I had to conquer. I'm sure there's a post game thing, but I did it. I beat the last campaign for Splatoon 3. Now we can just vibe. I think this might be my most favorite credit sequence. The graphics, the song. I mean, right now it's like we're underwater. So cool. I still love the campaigns of the Splatoon games. Not crazy about the whole multiplayer, playing against other people and getting puned thing, but I still love the campaigns.
Maybe I got a wheel carried away back there, but this isn't over yet. They still want your cowardice world of order, and I'm gonna give it to them.
You got the ore replica gear. You can pick up the lobby terminal. Now I can finally wear that and show that I've actually done this. And I got an emote! Yes! Exactly what us Gen Zers or whatever we're called once. You know, I could just look at the sky and just ponder life. Think about all the decisions I made. All the choices I could have made. And then just stop. Splatoon 3's over! All I gotta do now is finish the Grand Festival. We're gonna close the book on this because unless we get a Splatoon 4, this is going to be one of the last videos I make for Splatoon content. So, I salute you, Splatoon series, but all good things must come to an end. So, until the next thing I get fixated with, this has been WII2PLAY. I got nothing left to say, so I hope you enjoy your day. Take care out there, and I'll catch you later.